I am traveling this weekend to shoot a wedding up in Massachusetts, and I live in Arkansas. So I'm not getting in a car, I'm getting on a plane, and therefore I have to pack my camera bag accordingly. I figured as I am preparing for the wedding this weekend and looking at what I'm gonna pack in my bag, I might bring you in on my journey here, and also because I'm trying to make one video a week for the entire year of 2025. And so if that's something you want to keep along with, maybe you've been watching some of my videos before and you haven't subscribed quite yet, or this is your first one, well, hey, welcome to the channel. My name is Walter. I am a photographer and commercial filmmaker based in the southeastern United States. So stick with me because I'm going off script for this video. I usually kind of write everything out and follow along to a little outline, but this week we're freeballing it. We're doing it live! Starting with the bag. This is the PGY Tech 1Mo 25L. I got this bag a little over a year ago and I've used it twice, I think. I originally got it because I felt like I needed a bag that was gonna be big enough to hold like a lot of equipment, but I could still put on my back. So I have a rolling camera equipment case that I use for like bigger video shoots or any kind of bigger shoot where I can put it in my car and go, but this time I'm not getting in my car and going, I'm getting in a plane and I'm going. And taking a big rolling camera case through an airport and connections and TSA and through a smaller airport like I always fly out of here in Arkansas, they often take away one of my bags that and check it. And so if they're gonna do that to me, I would much rather it be my rolling suitcase with just my clothes in it, and therefore I can keep my equipment with me as my my personal item, whatever you wanna call it. Just to show you, this is the front. If I was good at YouTube, I would have cleaned this off, this mud from a shoot I did, I don't know, probably 8-10 months ago. I'm not gonna give you like a full tour of it because again, I haven't used it that much and I don't really know too much about it. All that being said, this is a very solid bag. It has a lot of space, as you've probably already seen a little bit. Okay, don't know what that will, hot shoe cover, don't know what camera that goes to. As you can probably tell here, I have lost a few of like the branded green PGY Tech dividers, and I therefore have had to substitute some gray ones from another bag that I have. That's just the nature of being me. I'm not gonna keep up with anything. So this is doing the trick for what it is this week. Okay, so let's start with the cameras. If you're anything like me, you never carry your cameras with the body caps on. You just slap a lens on it, put it in like that. So that's what we're doing. This is one of my main photo cameras that I've had for a couple years now. I've made a few videos on this camera, one specifically like a 40-minute long video, like a 2-year-long review of the Fujifilm X-T5. I made that specifically from the viewpoint of being a wedding photographer, like how this camera stacks up as a wedding photography camera. Please go watch that whole video if you're curious, but too long didn't read here is that this camera I think is very good for shooting weddings, and therefore I still use it as one of my main cameras. On the camera, I have my 18mm 1.4 Fujifilm. This is one of my 3 primes that I have with my Fujifilm X-T5. I'm a big prime guy, especially when it comes to Fujifilm, because I think they just make really good prime lenses. And I really like having that more shallow depth of field, especially on a crop sensor body where you don't have as much as you do on a full frame. And so the 18mm 1.4 is a fantastic kind of walk around, all around lens, especially for something like a wedding when you're documenting very loosely and casually. This is great for getting scenes, establishing shots, stuff like that. It's also really great for receptions with some flash and stuff like that. So this is a great little lens to keep on my X-T5, and we'll keep it on there as I put it in the bag. We'll stick with lenses for now with the X-T5 before we go on to the next cameras. So next up is the 33mm 1.4, also from Fujifilm. Phenomenal 15mm focal length equivalent on crop sensor. This is such a good lens. It's probably the fastest focusing lens I have for the Fujifilm system, and therefore if I know I'm about to be in a situation where like maybe it's super fast action, or I just need something that's just very reliable with autofocus, the 33mm is gonna be the lens I slap on there. So we'll put that, I don't know, either here, there, who cares? We'll put it right there. The next lens for Fujifilm that I'm gonna take with me, and the last one, is the Fujifilm 56mm 1.2 WR. This is the Mark II of the 56mm lens that Fuji has made, so it's the slightly newer one. So it has the slightly better autofocus. It is weather sealed, and it is just a phenomenal lens. It's probably the worst autofocusing lens out of the 3 that I have. It is in order, I would say best to worst is 33mm, 18mm, and then this 56mm 1.2. All that being said, it's still perfectly usable. I get great results with it, and it is like my go-to portrait lens for wedding photography. Now, will it be my go-to portrait lens this weekend at this wedding? Probably not, due to the next camera I'm about to talk about. So let's go ahead and put that in there and go on to our next camera, which is something I'm very excited about, a camera that I rented for this week and this weekend. I'm gonna return it on Monday. But this is the Fujifilm GFX 50S2. That's right, it's not the 100S2, it's not the 100 II, it's not even the old 50R or 50S. This is like the red-headed stepchild, I feel like, of the GFX lineup at this point, because it's old, it kind of sits in the middle of everything, but I chose to use this one for a very specific reason, for a few specific reasons actually. The first one is that it's only 50 megapixels. And for my use case, for weddings and stuff like that, I think that is like the best sweet spot if I am going to go into more of that medium format territory. My X-T5 already has 40 megapixels, so I've gotten pretty used to that bigger file size, and I've actually kind of call it Stockholm Syndrome. I don't know. I've kind of grown to like that bigger file size, whereas when I first got the camera, I wasn't so sure about it. But I've gotten really used to the fidelity of those files, the cropping ability, all that kind of stuff. And so having a GFX that is 50 megapixels, I feel like just 10 megapixels, it's around, you know, could be a similar file size. I understand the bigger sensor is going to make that even bigger, but as far as, you know, file sizes go with storage and how they work on my computer and everything, the 50 megapixels just seemed way more manageable to me than 100. It also apparently has like some of the worst autofocus in the GFX lineup, but I don't care about any of that because I'm not using any autofocus lenses on the GFX this weekend. I'm gonna make a video next week where I talk all about the GFX and how it handled for like personal stuff I'm shooting this week and how it handled at the wedding this weekend. Obviously, I don't know how it's handling yet. This actually just came in the mail today. I've only shot a few photos in my backyard to test out, but it's been raining really bad, so I can't like walk around and get a whole lot of photos right now. Tune in for next week. There'll be a lot more photos, both from around my house and my family to at the wedding this weekend. So please be on the lookout for that video next week where I go much more in depth on how I feel about this 50S2 and if it can work for weddings in 2025. So the lens I have on this is not even, you'll notice it's not even a first party GFX lens. This is the Voigtlander 40mm 1.2. It's a lens that I bought for my Nikon ZF, which I'm actually not even bringing to the wedding this weekend, and I'll talk about that in just a second. But I bought it for my Nikon ZF to specifically use with all the manual focus features that the Nikon ZF has to offer. But M-mount lenses, like M-mount lenses, which is what this Voigtlander is, adapt pretty easily to GFX from what I understood. Now there can be some decent vignetting depending on the lens that you're using, and it doesn't technically cover the entire image circle of the GFX, but from what I could tell online, it covered it more than enough, especially because I like to shoot in a 5:4 aspect ratio, which on medium format just fits very well. It's a very, very cool look. And with the few photos I've taken in my backyard already, it is a crazy look with this wide open 1.2 lens on the massive sensor that's in the 50S2. So I'm very curious and excited to see how this lens and camera performs this weekend. So again, be on the lookout for the video next week as I talk more about that. So that's gonna go in here. Where do we wanna put this? Yeah, that fits snugly right there. Now, I really quick wanted to talk about why I'm choosing not to bring my Nikon ZF to the wedding this weekend. This is a camera that I've talked about a few times on the channel. It's probably one of my better performing videos I've ever had, which is the first one I made on this camera when I first got it. This is a very, very good camera. I love it a lot. It's the newest addition to my kit, so there should be a lot of excitement around it, and I should want to take it to every wedding and every shoot that I'm doing. And I have brought it to a lot of shoots, and it's performed very well. Unfortunately, it's gonna have to stay behind this weekend. And it's not because I don't wanna take it or like I'm thinking about getting rid of it or anything like that. It's purely because I don't think I'm gonna have enough space in my bag to bring it. And if I do bring it, it's just gonna be overkill. And when it comes to travel, I need to be a little more light on my feet, and I also don't need the decision paralysis of having so many different digital cameras to choose from while I'm trying to shoot whatever's going on at this wedding. So unfortunately, this camera is gonna stay behind, but I am gonna go ahead and put it in the bag real quick to be a placeholder for a camera that I cannot put in the bag right now because I'm filming with it right now, which is my Sony a7S III. we are doing video at the wedding this weekend. I'm hiring somebody to shoot all that video. He's bringing some of his own equipment, but he also wanted to use my Sony a7S III. So I'm going to bring that for him with a 35mm lens that is right here. This is the Sigma 35mm art. Phenomenal lens. I also have the 50mm art, which is what I'm filming on right now. I think these are amazing lenses that definitely, they hold their value, perform very well, and have some of those old Sigma art characteristics that I think just look so good. And so we're bringing the 35mm. This is like my go-to lens when I'm filming at a wedding because it's just so versatile. You can shoot it in all different kinds of scenarios. And so this lens is absolutely going. Now, when I put the a7S III in my bag, and again, we're gonna pretend this Nikon ZF is the a7S III. I'm also going to bring an 85mm lens, so in case my videographer wants to do any more portrait style shots or do put on a tripod in the back of the ceremony. Pretend that this setup right here is the Sony a7S III with the Sony 85mm 1.8, that first generation 85, which I still think is an incredible lens, especially for the value you get with it. It's so cheap now. I've never been tempted to get like the new G Master 85 or anything, because I think that lens is so good. So again, pretending this is the Sony a7S III and the 85mm, we can put that, we'll put it right here. Perfect. Now we have a few other things we're going to put in here, starting with my really cool manual focus lenses that I wanted to talk about. One of them was actually on this Nikon ZF right now, which is, we'll get it back out so we can look at it. This is the Zeiss 50mm 1.8, the Jena Pankolar lens. I made a video about this lens, specifically how I use it on my Fuji X-T5, which I think is still a great use case. Actually, I'm proud of that video. So if you want to go watch that, you can check that out as well. But I'm bringing this lens, and I'm also bringing the Zeiss Jena 35mm, or is this a Jena lens? It is. It's the Carl Zeiss Jena Flectagon 35mm 2.4. These are both really cool vintage lenses. They're M42 lenses, they're screw mount, and I have an adapter to use that, obviously on my Nikon ZF here, but also have an adapter to use it on the GFX and Fujifilm. So I'm gonna bring both of these lenses to kind of interchange on my GFX, not my GFX, but the one I'm renting. So maybe between that Voigtlander 40mm, this Flectagon 35mm, and this Zeiss Jena Pankolar 50mm 1.8. I'm gonna try out all those lenses throughout this week, leading up to the wedding, but also at the wedding as well. Of course, these are all manual focus lenses, and so we'll see how that workflow keeps up with something like a wedding. Bring him all these lenses, mainly, honestly, just to test them out and kind of report back on them next week. So we'll throw in that 35 there. It's also a super small lens, so this, it can fit in a bag like this very easily. Just kind of slot in there. I am gonna be shooting some film at this wedding as well. I need to make a video at some point about this camera after I shoot a little bit more film on it so I can show you all the results you can get from it. But this is my old Nikon N75. This is one of the first kind of digital film hybrid cameras. It does not shoot digital. I mean, it is a full 35mm film camera, but it's kind of outfitted with a few like digital-ish features, because this is around when Nikon was starting to make digital SLRs. So you've got auto modes, you've got autofocus. Obviously, it's not going to be as good as something like you'd get in the X-T5 or a Sony camera or anything, but it's more than usable. And it's also got Nikon's F-mount, so you can use a ton of different Nikon lenses on a camera like this. It's also super light and cheap. I think you can get these for like $50 or something on eBay, like the whole camera. It's crazy. And then you can get any number of cheap Nikon lenses as well. Those are all open to you. So this is actually a recent pickup of mine. This is the Nikon 50mm. It's actually the Nikkor AFS 50mm 1.8G. This was kind of your very basic, but also very capable 50mm plastic fantastic lens to use as a walk around with everything. So I'm gonna have this camera kind of around my neck and shoot some film with this as well. We're gonna throw that in there. I also have a second lens that I'm gonna bring for the film setup. This is the AF Nikkor 28mm 2.8. So I'll probably break this out if I want to do any more establishing shots with a more wide angle on film. And I think I'm also going to break it out a decent bit when we get to the reception. So, this camera also has a pop-up flash on it. So I'm just going to pop up the flash, throw the 28mm on, and just get some fun party pics with that. Man, where am I going to put this? Let's throw this right here. That works, who cares? Okay, so those are all the cameras and the lenses that I'm going to bring. So let me talk about a couple of the other things I'm going to bring along with me to help with this whole thing. I'm gonna bring one flash with me. I love to use the direct flash look at receptions and sometimes with other stuff as well. So maybe some portraits every now and then, some detail shots, you know, that can be kind of a cool old school look. But I'm gonna bring this. This is the Godox TT6852F, so specifically for the Fujifilm system. I'm gonna use this between the X-T5 and the GFX, probably mostly on the X-T5 because I can put on my 18mm 1.4 at the reception and get a look with it that way. I've been thinking about going ahead and upgrading this to the Godox V1, which I have for the Sony system, but I'm not using Sony for photography this weekend. So I think this one's gonna be okay. It's less powerful and it uses AA batteries instead of those great rechargeable batteries that you get with the V1, but it is what it is. We'll put that in the bag. SD card case, there's nothing else to say about that. You gotta have your memory, so we'll throw that in there. I also have, you know, obviously a lot of batteries I'm gonna bring with me for this, for my Fuji cameras. I'm just gonna throw those in there along with the charger. That's pretty self-explanatory. And then just a few tech items that I'm gonna need for my travels, starting with my laptop. This is a 14-inch M1 Pro. It's a little souped up. It's pretty powerful. It's very reliable. That'll go in there. I'm also gonna bring my little iPad mini. That's just a great little travel companion. Download my shows on it or something while I'm to watch while I'm on the plane. So that will go in there as well. And then finally, my Kindle Paperwhite, because I've been reading more lately and just overall trying to read more lately. So that's also gonna get thrown into that pocket there. And I think that's gonna be it. This might shift a little bit between now and the wedding, but I'm leaving in a few days. So I think I've got this kind of locked in. So we'll close that up and then be really mad at myself for bringing so much equipment when I had to go through airports with all this crap on my back. And that's the bag for my wedding this weekend. If you're anything like me, you might wish you had a job sometimes where you can just bring a crappy little like ThinkPad laptop and just do your Excel spreadsheets while you're waiting on your connecting flight. How many times have you seen that in the airport and it makes you so mad because you're carrying all this crap with you and then you see somebody probably making 3 times as much money as you are and they're just moving around cells on Excel? That's super frustrating, but good for them and bad for us. I don't know. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this week's video. Something a little bit different than I normally do. Next week, I'll be back at the desk talking about my experience with the GFX 50S2 and the whole manual focus experience and how that feels at a wedding, stuff like that. So please be on the lookout for that. I'm gonna show a lot of photos from the wedding. I'll probably show some more photos that I've taken just like with my family and around the house as well with the GFX setup and those manual focus lenses. So if you want to see that, please subscribe. If you don't want to subscribe, that's fine, I get it. Also have my Fujifilm preset pack for sale, $20, but if you use the code that's in the description of this video, you can get $5 off and get that whole preset pack for only $15, which I think is a steal. And if you don't want to get the whole pack, you just want to try them out, there's one completely for free. It's Fujifilm Chrome. You can download that for a grand old $0 from my website, test it out before you buy the whole pack, or you can just download it and then go about your merry way and forget I exist next week. So buying my presets definitely supports me and this channel as it's growing and I'm building more of an audience, which is super cool. I'm very thankful for all of that. But also, you can support me by just liking this video, leaving a little comment, even if it's to, you know, give me the middle finger emoji, who cares? And then you can also share this video with anybody. All that stuff helps the algorithm tell people that my stuff is worth watching. If you don't think it's worth watching, that's fine too. Just keep that to yourself because that hurts my feelings. If you don't do any of that, that's totally fine because I will see you in the algorithm in 6 months.